What's up guys? Today we're going to talk about deloading, overtraining, recovery, plateaus, all that horrible shit that nobody wants to go through, but you're inevitably going to go through it because if you're working out a lot and you're really pushing yourself and you're lifting a lot of weight, and if you're not taking the proper recovery, these are things that are going to happen. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is deloading. What is deloading? What the fuck is that? I'm just loading these plates up. I ain't taking these plates off. I'm gonna put all these plates on. I'm not gonna deload. Alright, well, listen. Say you're training to failure. You're doing like maybe a HIIT style routine, high intensity training, not high intensity interval training, completely different thing. But say you're doing a HIIT program and on your last set or your working set, you're working to failure. And you're making pretty significant gains, right? You're adding 5 pounds a week on your big lifts and your isometric lifts as well. And you're feeling real good. You're getting stronger, you're getting bigger. And then all of a sudden, it all just blows up in your face. You can't lift as heavy anymore. Something is wrong. Maybe you're feeling some aches and pains. What is it? The body can only handle a certain amount of RPMs for a certain amount of time. And at some point, say maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months, maybe even 6 months, it really depends on how well your recovery process is. Everybody's gonna sort of hit this plateau, or they're gonna hit a wall, I should say. I shouldn't say plateau because we can all get over plateaus, but we have to be very careful about how we do it. And that's where deloading comes into play. So I'll give you myself as an example. Since January, I've been lifting very heavy. I've been doing HIIT style workouts where I'm training to failure on my working sets. I may only be doing 2 sets per exercise. Sometimes I'm doing 3, but usually I do like a warm-up set and then I train as heavy as I can to failure for around the 6+ rep range. Somewhere between like 6 and 12, we'll say. I was making very significant progress in the gym. I was deadlifting over 500 pounds for multiple reps. When I came into the gym in January, I was struggling at 315 pounds for reps. And then I started really focusing on my form. I was focusing on the stretch for every exercise, the eccentric, not so much the concentric, because the eccentric is actually proven to cause the most hypertrophy, which in turn produces the most muscle growth and strength. So I was doing really well with a lot of these lifts. I was really focusing on dialing in, deadlifts being one of them. And then one day, about a month ago, I couldn't lift that heavy. And it was really frustrating me. And I couldn't figure what the fuck was going on. You know, a couple weeks before, I'm deadlifting 500 pounds for like 6 reps. It's not a big deal. And then all of a sudden, I'm at 405, which may be like a warm-up set. A very heavy warm-up set, but a warm-up set, we'll say closer to that than a working set. And all of a sudden, I'm struggling to get 5 reps with 405. Now, granted, I've had injuries in the past. I've covered this before, back injuries especially. But this didn't feel injury related. If anything, it just felt like I was really stiff. You know, I'm notorious for not getting a lot of sleep sometimes. Sometimes I only get 4 hours of sleep. Last night, I only got 3 hours of sleep, but I took a fat nap today, so it's okay. But I'm someone who, you know, I can push myself really hard and I can get maybe 4 to 6 hours of sleep and still push myself really hard the next day. And I feel recovered. I feel like I'm making progress. But every now and then, you know, your body is going to catch up to you. It's going to say, hey, listen, you dumbass, you've been getting 4 hours of sleep every night for the last 6 months. What the hell is going on? We need more time to recover, especially with how hard you are training. So this is where deloading comes into play. Sometimes you're gonna have to humble yourself and you're gonna have to strip down the weight and you're gonna have to go for reps. Doesn't mean that you can't train to failure, but you're probably going to feel more comfortable working with higher reps. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing more sets. In my case, I still do 2 to 3 sets per exercise. Again, I'm doing HIIT style workouts. and I am training to failure, but the last couple of weeks, I have been deloading a little bit. And I've been picking and choosing, what feels good. Like some things I can still go pretty heavy on. Some things not so much, for the deadlifts, for instance. So instead of just focusing on deadlifts every week, what I've been doing is I've been incorporating different exercises, things that would work on my flexibility, like stiff-legged deadlifts with a barbell, dumbbells, more partials in the bottom range of motion with dumbbells for the stiff-legged deadlifts. So I'm really focusing on my hamstrings, not really getting the back as much involved, just focusing on that isometric and trying out different things, right? Getting my body adjusted. So this week I actually went back to deadlifting 500 pounds, and it was really easy, but I had to take a couple of weeks to just decompress, try out some different things, go for higher reps, instead of just pushing myself in that 6 to 8 rep range and going really fucking heavy. Sometimes you're gonna need that. The body, you have to listen to your body. And I think the mistake that a lot of people make is that they think about lifting weights, right? They're thinking about lifting heavy weights. And that's not the whole purpose of this. This is not, if you're talking about the sport of bodybuilding, if you're talking about aesthetics, if you're talking about increasing muscle size, lifting heavy weights is not necessarily the most important thing. It is important, but the most important thing is, how does the exercise feel? How does the weight feel when you're training with it? If it's too heavy, you're probably not going to get a good mind-muscle connection. Now, you might increase your strength, but again, you're going to have to ask yourself, are you bodybuilding? Are you doing this for aesthetics? Or are you doing this for something like powerlifting? Which, if that's what you're doing, great. I'm not a powerlifter. I have no intention of being a powerlifter. I just want to get as big and cut and lean as I can possibly be. So my goals are going to be very different from that of someone who's just doing an exercise for like 1 to 3 reps. I want to get at least 6. That's sort of what deloading is all about. Deloading would be, okay, you're hitting this wall, you're not really improving. In fact, you may even be going backwards, like in my case, where I'm struggling with 405 for a warm-up set. And you're just gonna have to adjust. You're gonna have to probably try out different exercises, try out exercises that increase your range of motion, try out things that are difficult, but maybe not as heavy, maybe not something where you're loading up as much. The body is probably only going to be able to handle you deadlifting excessive amounts of weights for so long before it's like, hey, why don't you do something different for your hamstrings and your lower back and your upper back and your lats and whatever. So that's a little bit about deloading. Hopefully that's helpful. The other thing I wanted to talk about is overtraining. Now, I'm guilty of this a lot. I am the type of person where I used to work out 7 days a week, doing HIIT workouts. Not high intensity workouts, but actually, in this case, high intensity interval training workouts. I was doing F45 classes every single day. If you don't know what F45 is, it's a pretty big gym franchise. You can Google it. They do group class fitness. Everything is time under tension, very short rest periods. You can't really train that heavy there, but you do HIIT workouts the way they're intended, which is that you're going balls to the wall on every single set that you're doing. Anyone that's taking an F45 class and has actually put in a little bit of effort can attest to that. So if you don't know what F45 is, look it up. Maybe there's a gym in your area. They usually do like 7-day passes for like $7 or something like that. If you're trying to increase your muscle size and you're trying to go more for like a bodybuilding sort of program, I wouldn't recommend it because it's all more cardio intensive than anything. But if that is your style of working out and that's what you want, great, go ahead and try it out. You'll probably like it, like I did. Only difference now is that I'm in a different phase of my life and I want to do different things. And so back to what I'm saying, I used to overtrain a lot, wouldn't get enough sleep. I kind of got to this point where I sort of adapted to it, so I could get through working out 7 days a week because I really wasn't pushing myself as hard as I think I could, especially when it came to the weights. Like I already had very good cardiovascular endurance. I mean, lifting moderate to slightly heavy weights. You know, the heaviest thing I trained was like 88-pound dumbbells and maybe a 315 deadlift. You know, nothing too crazy, but that's the heaviest I would go in these kind of classes. And I could do that, and I felt like I could push through, even though some days it would be really hard to get up in the morning, and I could definitely tell that maybe I wasn't giving myself enough recovery time. My physique didn't really change that much doing that. There was a lot of maintenance involved, and I still looked great. I still had a very low body fat percentage, but definitely not the kind of size that I have now. And that's the thing with overtraining is that if you overtrain, you're probably going to have diminishing results. Very similar to when you need to do a deloading phase. You're encountering diminishing results. You know, could be a lack of sleep, could be a lack of supplementation. Me, I'm getting back onto creatine. Creatine is very good for muscle development. That's been scientifically proven. But the other thing that's very good for is lack of sleep. It helps your body recover when you are not sleeping as much as you should be. So I'm one of those people where that is very much the case. I mean, I do get naps. I do nap, you know, I'll crash at some point, especially if I'm running off of like 3 hours of sleep. I'm probably gonna come back home and take like a 2 to 3 hour nap. That, you know, for me, it doesn't feel the greatest thing. It doesn't feel the greatest to do. I would prefer getting maybe 6 hours of sleep, but I also know that when I'm gauging myself, I personally feel better when I get about 4 to 5 hours of sleep. That's just me. For the average person though, you're probably gonna need a lot more. And if you're training excessively, then that is also gonna be the case too. The body is going to need time to recuperate. And the one thing that I'm working on is giving myself more rest days. So instead of training 7 days a week, I will gauge it. So maybe I'll do 3 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off, 4 days on, 2 days off. It really just depends on how I feel. But the rest days are very important. And I also stretch a lot. I stretch very often. I make sure that I'm stretching at least 30 minutes a day, full body stretches. That really helps with my recovery process. I eat a lot. I make sure that my macros are on point. So if I am lacking in the sense that I'm not getting enough sleep, I'm at least making up for it for the things I can do outside of that. That's just me. For you, it might be something completely different. It might be that you need more sleep or you need to take more rest days, especially if you are training to failure. You're gonna have to gauge your workouts and you might have to adjust. You know, if you're doing like 12 different exercises every single day and you're training to failure on every single one of those exercises, it might be a good idea to kind of split up your routine a little bit. And that's actually something that I've been doing personally. So I'll give you an example. Instead of training my legs, meaning my hamstrings, my calves, and my quads all in one day, I've actually broken it up into 2 days. So for 1 day, I'll train the front of my leg, that'd be my quads and my tibs. And then I'll give myself a couple of days, maybe train my upper body a bit. And then I'll train the back of my legs. I'll do my hamstrings and my calves and my glutes. So that way I'm not doing as much volume as I normally would if I was just training my legs the whole thing in 1 day. I mean, that's a lot of volume. If you're training your legs in their entirety in 1 fucking day, think about it. You got your quads, biggest muscle in the body. You got your calves, also very big. Hamstrings, very big. Glutes, very big. Abductors, adductors, there's a lot of muscles there. So if you're training your legs just in 1 day, personally, I think you might need to reevaluate that. I think that you probably would be better off maybe splitting things up. And that would help with the recovery process as well, because if you just do a fucking crazy leg workout and then you're not getting a lot of recovery, well, your legs are like kaput. What the fuck, you know? That you squat 405 pounds, you do deadlifts 500 pounds all in the same day. It's pretty taxing on the body. So that's what I've been doing is I've been splitting things up. I've been getting more of a feel for my body, And also, I might focus on smaller muscle groups. So instead of doing like a day that's a bigger muscle group with a smaller muscle group, I may do a day with a smaller muscle group and maybe some corrective work. So I have a day where I train my forearms and then I train my neck, and there's not a lot of load there, like you can still train heavy doing like forearm curls and that kind of stuff, but not in the same extent that you would doing like a back squat. And all of this stuff also ties into plateaus as well. So if you're plateauing, there's a lot of different things that it could be. It could be your nutrition, it could be your recovery, sleep, overtraining, a lot of different things. What I would say is for people who are going through something like that, you could try and pick it apart one by one, but what I like to do whenever I'm hitting walls is I throw the kitchen sink into my problems. I'm the type of person where I like to look at all the possible solutions and I just try and do them all, because likely one of those things is going to be the thing that I need to focus on. And sometimes it's actually multiple things I need to focus on. So maybe you feel like you're getting a lack of sleep, but you're also the type of person where you're like, well, I feel pretty good sleeping 4 or 5 hours a night. Should I be getting more hours of sleep? I don't know, maybe. You could also not be eating enough. You could not be stretching enough. You may need to do a deloading phase. So these are just all things to keep into consideration. And that's really about it, I hope that you get something out of that. I mean, for me, it does. The only reason I share these things is because I hope that you resonate with them. These are just the things that I learned being a fitness coach and being somebody who is really pushing myself to be the best possible person that I can be in terms of fitness, especially when it comes to lifting weights and putting on muscle. I'm going to start making more videos. I've been off for a couple of weeks as far as the fitness realm of things go. For the folks that watch my shorts, I'm still doing those every night. Been posting them like around midnight. They seem to do pretty well that way. I'm also working on more fitness products, partnerships. I'm developing a fitness program as well. I will keep you posted on the progress there. I'm expecting that something should come to fruition sometime mid-October. I'm going to do a beginners program, an intermediate program, and an advanced program. All 3 of these programs are going to be programs that I actually incorporate myself. So there's no BS involved. It is all things that I actually do at different levels when I am training. So authenticity is the key. No one likes BS, right? That is about it. I apologize again for not making more of these videos. I really want to be more on top of this kind of stuff. I've had a lot of auditions the last couple of weeks. I'm an actor. I'm a fitness coach. I'm a full-time student. I'm a crazy person. My life is full of things that I do on a day-to-day basis, including keeping my girlfriend happy. So that is also very important. But I will make a habit of doing at least one of these videos once a week for all those people who care. So thanks for watching, y'all. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will catch you again next time.